Hello world, this is Antoinette, and today's video is going to be about a dream that I had when I was 16 years old. Okay, now that was a long time ago, and I would say that dream was probably the beginning of dreams that I started having throughout my lifetime. Okay? Now, this is dream in particular was I was probably, I would not probably, I knew, simply because of a particular person that was in the dream who was like a friend of mine during this short period of time when I was 16. So that would have been, I suppose, in 1980. Now, I've never known the significance of that other than other dreams. That one I can really give a time frame of as to what year it was. And so I got like black from the from the wood stove. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about the dream. But first of all, what I do want to mention is that at 16 I was living with one of my parents, and I have lived and in different places since then, in also a couple other states, and also in this state here back. And we added on. I've been in this place probably about, been living here for about 22, maybe 23 years. I'm thinking maybe more. And we added on like 2 extra rooms this way, okay? And it's like a sunken living room with the bedroom upstairs, and it's got a couple of windows. It's got a large window this way and a couple of windows that face the west, okay? Those are not real big windows. And then there's a staircase, like just more simple staircase, leading up to the left side of it, okay? Now, in my dream at 16, that looks very, very familiar to the setting that I was in. Now, after that room was added and everything, a few years later after being here, these 2 rooms, I would come into these rooms and just kind of every once in a while, like, kind of notice, like, something looks real familiar. Something looks real, like, familiar about, like, the staircase going up and those 2 windows or something. Anyway, it took me a while to realize, like, oh my goodness, that looks like, kind of like the setting that I was in when I had that dream, okay? So that dream was, I'm going to start with the dream. Now, in that dream, I was in like what I had thought for many years, because I never forgot the dream. You would never forget something like that. Was I was in a room, and for many years I thought that I must have been in like a basement or something, because I always figured that the room was kind of lower than the rest of the house, or because of the window I was looking out of just seemed like a little high, and I'm looking out that way. Kind of similar to what these 2 windows that face west kind of look like. They're not real small, but probably come up to around right here. And I don't know, I just thought, was I looking out of a basement window? I don't know. So other than that, here was the dream. Now, I was in this room, which, like, I knew was lower or sunken in some way. And this friend of mine that was in the dream, which is of no significance, even shortly after or what have you, they were just in the dream for whatever reason, and that's how I can identify what year or how old I was. So this friend comes walking down the staircase, and I was like in the middle of this one room. And this friend comes walking down the staircase and goes and like sits or relaxes on a couch that is alongside a wall. And it's like, I guess it's like I don't know, one of those sleeper couches or something, because it was like out, and that friend just sitting there or like relaxing on it. It was just very weird. And I after noticing this, I had walked to one of the windows that faced west, I guess. And that's not really significant either, because what I saw, no matter what window you would be looking out of. And I walked towards a window, and I remember looking out, and it was night out sky, like the night sky. And I noticed, like looking up into the night sky, that there was this grand, spectacular event taking place. Like, I looked, and I like seriously, like kind of like freaked out in a way. And I turned around and I told this friend, look, it's Michelangelo fighting the dragon. Like, and that's really all I said throughout the whole entire dream. And that's all I said. I didn't notice anything. I didn't look towards the friend or anything else in the dream. I just stayed staring out that window, looking upwards into the night sky. And what I saw were these two grandiose beings. I would say they weren't clear out there in the universe, trillion miles away or whatever. They were like probably about the distance from the Earth to the moon on a regular night. You know, when you see the moon just floating around in the sky, sometimes during the day, and it's like sometimes you can see the moon during the day, just out there. Half moon, whatever. That's about the distance that they were. And they were bigger than the moon, or they looked bigger than the moon, okay? They were grand. They were grand in size. And not only that, they were consisted of stars roundabout. They were like kind of like defined in stars, and stars within them roundabout. I was seeing them in like 4D, not 3D, 4D. And they're facing each other is what I'm seeing. They're facing each other. Not at any time I remember them like looking towards Earth or anything. They were facing each other like if it's like a duel. Now, Michelangelo, he looked like a man, like a very magnificent being, very magnificent looking. And I'm seeing them like sideways because they're like facing each other. But like I say, I'm also seeing them in 3D. So I can see that they consist of many thousands of stars roundabout within them and everything. And so I'm just watching them. Now, Michelangelo was like dressed like, I would say, like in a, I don't know, Roman type, Greek type, like toga, something similar to, I'll draw it real quick, kind of simple, like, magnificent no matter what, his being, but like just magnificent looking being, like a man. And And he has like, if you were to imagine like a, you know, one piece dress, okay, like the way they dressed in those times, something similar to that, you know, like where, like something like more simple in a way, where like the arms are kind of bare, you know, like that, you know, and then like one piece, and then above the knees, and a belt, okay, like that. Like, I didn't see him in a helmet, or that he had a breastplate, or or even wings. I didn't see that he, I know he didn't, I didn't see wings on him. And I know that in many paintings and a lot of angels are depicted with wings, but the beings I saw out there, they look like beings that can walk the universe. I'm not kidding you. They look like beings that can walk the universe. And they are like standing in the night sky. As what Michelangelo did have is, he had like kind of like I don't know, I think he was kind of like wearing boots or something, like up to his shins. If they weren't boots, that's the only thing that's kind of vague in now after all these years, like where your shins are, you know, like this, and like kind of like the way the Romans or Greeks or anybody wore back in the day. Either they would either wear like these boots that looked like this, you know, kind of like that, or they wore like these sandal type things that came up like this. Okay, so he did have something that went up on his shins like that. So his like shins, he had like something like either a, I don't know, like a sandal that like maybe strapped up, or like a boot. That's the only part of the dream that is like vague to me, that because it was so long ago. Other than that, he had a sword, and that was actually like the only weapon that I saw him with. I didn't see him with any other weapons. I didn't see any armor, other than the sword. He was holding the sword up like this. He was just holding it and kind of wavering like this, like wavering as he was, you know, watching the dragon. He was just keeping his eye on the dragon, and yes, I did know. I did know, just like as surely as I knew that that was Michelangelo. I also knew that who the dragon is. I did know who the dragon is. You know, Satan, Lucifer, the devil, whoever you want to call him. I did know who he was. Um, and so the dragon, his stature also, at least the body part, not including the tail, from the feet, because he did have these hind feet like a dragon, uh, and like a smaller front feet, or up on top, you know, just the way you would imagine a dragon. He didn't have a big belly. He had kind of like a slender belly, and he had a tail, not super long, but he had a long tail. And you could even see, regardless of, you know, even with stars, you can see he was defined in scales. And like the scales were like his armor, like the scales are armor. And and he had like, he was very angry. He was very angry and ferocious looking. Extremely angry, agitated. You could see that in his tail. Like his tail would like swish, like that. It would like swing like that real slow, and then it would like swish like that, like he was agitated. Kind of like the way if you were like, I don't know, poke a reptile, like a crocodile or something, that his tail would start getting like agitated, like very bugged and agitated. So his tail was doing that the entire time, like agitated. And and he would thrust forward like that. Like he was in a more upright position, but not like completely always like that. He was like, he would thrust forward, and at times he would come back, and that's how I could see that he was about the same stature as Michelangelo. And he would come back and he would like thrust forward, like what it seemed to me was like to scare or put fear into Michelangelo. Like he had like this attitude, really ferocious attitude, like, just to give you an idea, more like, oh, you know, I'm gonna rip you apart, you know, you're gonna get it, or like that type of attitude. Now, Michelangelo, he was just standing there. He never really moved other than his body like that. And just like if he was patiently waiting for the dragon to make the first move. That's what it started looking like. Like he's not gonna make the first move. It was like he was just waiting for the dragon to make his first move. And like he had like more of a stance, like whenever you're ready, like that, like whenever you're ready, you know. And the dragon, even in all his ferocity, which terrified me, like literally terrified me, his anger, his vicious anger, like vicious anger, it really terrified me. And that they were like of the same stature. Already they were grand. And he's like the same size as Michelangelo, and he's very agitated. So I'm seeing like something's gonna take place here. Something's gonna happen. And so he would like kind of thrust kind of like towards Michelangelo like this, like thrust at him, but he would only come to like a certain like distance to Michelangelo. See my dirt, my black on my finger. He would just go like that, but he would never like come more closer. He would never like go more closer. He would always stay like right here, almost to like in all his anger and spite and everything, he was like, if he didn't want to, like he hesitated. Like he hesitated to make a move. Like he did. He hesitated, but he was very angry. And a lot of what as I stayed like fixated and mesmerized on this grand event, and I know that I was more fixated on the dragon's face, his tail moving, and his ferocity. I suppose that if I would have probably looked or focused more on Michelangelo's face, what have you, that I would have probably been able to see the, I don't know, more of his defined features or something, you know. And but I was very terrified at what I was looking at, and the dragon scared me a lot. His anger really scared me, and their grand stature. And so finally, from this like going on for a little while, the dragon, he eventually, now I'll just finish kind of describing the dragon a bit. He had like some type of spikes in a way, coming from like on his forehead a bit, like some type of spikes. Not real big spikes, but you could see he had some spikes probably coming down a little ways down his back. He was scaled completely like a I don't know, like a dragon has scales, or alligator, or like that. So he eventually, with his tail, like that tail is a weapon too. That tail is a weapon. And eventually his tail came, after being very agitated and like stroking like that, eventually like his tail came swinging around like that, and like at a fast rate of speed. And Michelangelo, like before it even got like, I don't know, halfway through the other side of his, so his tail comes swinging around. And at that point, like, let's say he's facing this way, and his tail is swishing around this way. So it comes around this way and about almost halfway heading this way. Like if it was, I would say at that point, that's when Michelangelo figured that's where he was gonna hit him with the tail, you know. And so Michelangelo at that point, before the tail can even get close to Michelangelo, Michelangelo went and he slammed his tail with the sword. And then suddenly another grand impact took place, like spectacular, like when Michelangelo hit his tail. It was like a bang out in the atmosphere, like his tail, like suddenly it was like an atomic power, all these stars from his tail just busted out, like it just like a whole bunch of like busted up stars. Now, I can't remember if I had mentioned that they consisted of a lot of colors too. Like Michelangelo, like his wardrobe, like his hair, the color, whatever have you, the dragon, and I don't know, kind of like a amber type color, possibly, not completely. They were made up of many colored stars. And like even some of those stars were in coordination, to their colors, I guess. Anyway, so the dragon, he comes flinging his tail around, and Michelangelo at that point goes down and hits him with the sword, which is also made of stars. Now, what I see is like the dragon's tail busted up, like just busted up in thousands of busted up stars. And it just, you could see these stars, just busted up stars, just flinging everywhere into the atmosphere, just flinging everywhere at a great speed, because the impact was great. And it just boom, and it just thrust these stars out into the atmosphere. And like the stars, these busted up stars would have been hitting like probably the moon and impacting the sun, or impacting Earth greatly, like hundreds, thousands of these, like, I guess, busted up stars, I guess meteorites. They were just flinging to the earth and impacting the earth, the surface of the earth, just bam, like real random. And when they were coming into the Earth's atmosphere, just flinging at a great rate of speed, they were like white. They looked like white streamers coming down, and they were just impacting the Earth in random areas. Like with me, I would say like what I saw was like something hitting possibly about like 10 miles away. I can't be sure, but like around 10 miles away from me, from my location, from where I was at. And then maybe another one over there looked like maybe it was 40 miles away. Like they were impacting Earth, like hitting definitely other countries, what have you. You could just see them just busting out, just flinging to the earth, just flinging out into the atmosphere, like if something exploded out there, and this impact was hitting the earth also. And I felt so very insignificant, like just even looking at them in their grand stature. So that's what I'm seeing. Like they were just, it was just at that point, it's when when I was so overwhelmed with this event, and then now these busted up stars are just flinging to earth and impacting the earth in random areas. At that point, I woke up. I was just too overwhelmed to digest this. It was already, like I say, overwhelming to begin with, to see this grand event in the sky. And like I went over that dream like over and over. I couldn't forget it for a long time. And even like to this day, like I will tell you that, you know, I knew who the dragon was. I know that the dragon is Lucifer, Satan, El Diablo, the devil, whoever you want to refer him as. But I knew who he was. I don't know what happened to his glorified, first created being that he was. He was supposedly, you know, a very beautiful and magnificent being. He was supposedly possibly an archangel or a cherubim, something like that. But he, anytime anybody says, oh, and Satan this, or the devil that, or what have you, I have a certain amount of respect for, you know, I guess his stature or maybe his intelligence or something, what have you. But no, I don't honor him. I don't worship him or anything other than I see his stature. But I am also there to tell you and here to tell you that it didn't seem to me that Michael Angel was fearful or anything like that. I didn't see him flinch. He didn't even have armor. It seemed like, yeah, like the dragon scared me out of my wits watching his terrible face. But he was, Michael Angel just did what he did. Now, there's also kind of like this misinterpretation about the host of heaven, or 1/3 of the host of heaven, you know, falling with Lucifer, you know, that 1/3 of the host of heaven fell with him. That's incorrect. There is, what it says is that Michael Angel's tail, you know, swept up like 1/3 of the stars. The stars, what they consist of, I don't know, but the stars are not angels, or their creations, I don't know, but 1/3 of the stars fell to earth, what have you, but it had to do with his tail swooping up 1/3 of the stars. So whether 1/3 of his tail swishing back and forth just like whacked a bunch of stars, or it consisted of a bunch of stars, 1/3 of the stars, that's what that means. 1/3 of the host of heaven did not fall with Lucifer. There was, according to Enoch, there was 200 fallen angels. So he was not able to convince 1/3 of the host of heaven. So even that was done through some way of form of manipulation. But either way, uh, that's what I saw. And I won't ever forget it. I haven't told very many people throughout my lifetime because mainly because, you know, if you tell somebody like a story like that, because this is of like a biblical event, you know, people, I guess they might tend to think like, yeah, right, you know, like you had a dream like that, or, you know, like you're seeing biblical events taking place or things like that. But I really did, and it was a long time ago, and I was only 16 years old when I had that dream. So it does look somewhat similar to this new addition, that room of what's here now. So all I know is he's a grand being, he's intelligent, but so is God, so is Michaelangel. And I just want you all to, I don't know, consider it. If you had dreams, which I know other people are having dreams, because I like to, I hear other people's dreams. And so it was just high tide that I start saying some of the dreams that I've had throughout my lifetime, which I kind of think that some of those dreams I was seeing possible, just very short dreams showing things that may happen on earth. But these dreams are not as grand as this type of dream. But other than that, that's my dream of Michaelangel fighting the dragon when I was 16 years old.